May 19th, 2026, Lowell City Council meeting come to order. City prayer. Dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for the direction which will lead us in our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day of wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Council Robinson.
Here.
Council Rourke.
Here.
Council Scott.
Here.
Council Chau.
Here.
Council Descoteaux.
Here.
Mayor Gitschier.
Here.
Council Juran.
Here.
Council Liang.
Here.
Council McDonough.
Here.
Council Mercier.
Here.
Council Nuon.
Here.
11 present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Moment of silence. Councilor Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in docking chamber for Patricia M. Pat McCoy. Born in Lowell, Pat attended Lowell schools and graduated from Lowell High School with the class of 1957. After high school, Pat enrolled at Northeastern University, where she earned a bachelor's degree in recreational education. She furthered her education at Salem State University, earning a master's degree in school administration. Pat had a lifelong career in recreation, having served with the City of Lowell Parks and Recreation Department, including directing programs like the Summer Youth Recreation Program. Pat had a heart as big as any baseball field she played on or coached on. She paid for uniforms out of her pocket, sent kids to summer camp anonymously, donated years back to coaching both boys and girl teams throughout the city. She bought kids ice cream after games, no matter how badly they may have played, and she mentored hundreds throughout her lifetime. Before we had a skateboard park, Pat and I traveled to different communities to see what type of skateboard parks were built in other places to bring back to what we felt was right for our children. The city lost a positive role model in the passing of Pat McCoy. We offer our condolences to her two brothers and her two sisters, her family, and many friends. I'd also like to offer a moment of silence in darkened chamber to all those who passed away since our last city council meeting. May they all rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mercier. Councilor Nuon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too like to offer a moment of silence in chambers for Bunrani Chau. Bunrani Chau, 42, passed away peacefully on Saturday, May 9, 2026, surrounded by her family. Born on August 23, 1983, in Bronx, New York. Eventually, she made New England her home. A longer time resident of Lowell, most recently resident of Tyngsboro, she is survived by her parent, David Chan, and Sapali Chau of Lowell. Beside her parents, she is survived by her daughter, Brianna Poe, and her fiancé, Pedro de Sousa of Tyngsboro, her son, Tyler Brown of Tyngsboro, and her sister, Bun Navi Ponte, and her husband, Kai Ponte of Tyngsboro, and Marina Chau, and her fiancé, Eric Nelson of Boston, her brother, Bun Chau, and his wife, Sirit Sam of Tyngsboro, as well as one niece, Sina Ponte, and two nephew, Bennett, Kelly, Brendan Chau, and many cousin and aunt and uncle. Bunrani was a graduate of Lowell High School, class of 2002, and later graduated from Middlesex Community College with associate degree in science and diagnostic medical sonography. She worked as a ultrasound technologist at Lowell General Hospital, and also through MCC, she served as clinical instructor. She loved her career and she loved teaching. She was beloved by so many of her colleagues. There was also so much love and laughter that surround her there. Her children, Brianna Bolt and Tyler Brown, lit up her life. She found joy being home with them, cooking and making her home comfy. She surrounded herself with many friends and family. May she rest in peace.
Thank you, Councilor Nuon. Any other moment of silences? Seeing none, if you could dim the lights, please. Motion to suspend the rules by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Rourke for the Hometown Banners Program. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Director Lamarche, Veterans Director Lamarche, please.
Just want to briefly say that I'm proud that this year we had 29 recipients, 29 banners. This year alone was more than we've had in all the other years combined. We have a good problem trying to figure out where we're going to put them this year, but we're working on that. And most of the families came tonight. Just want to briefly read the names of all the people we were able to honor this year. Airman 3rd Class Robert Higgins, United States Air Force. Captain Edmund Murphy, Jr., U.S. Marine Corps. Wagoneer Albert Jusom, U.S. Army. Corporal Paul Jusom, U.S. Marine Corps. Private First Class Ignatius Tabor, U.S. Army. Private First Class Theodore Wozniak, U.S. Marine Corps. Private First Class Roland Arcand, U.S. Army. Storekeeper 4 Filbert Rumman, U.S. Navy. Staff Sergeant Kenneth Cameron, U.S. Army. Captain Walter Green, Army and Coast Guard. Private Aldo Green, U.S. Army. AG-3 Michael Fitzgibbon, U.S. Navy. Sergeant Edmund Sharon, U.S. Marine Corps. Corporal Gerald Gregoire, U.S. Marine Corps. Sergeant John Scannell, U.S. Army. Lieutenant Colonel Tahina Montoya, U.S. Air Force. Technical Sergeant Richard Looney Sr., U.S. Air Force. Staff Sergeant Paul Myron, U.S. Army. CPC Curtis Chantaboon, U.S. Army National Guard. Technical Sergeant Clarence Cameron, U.S. Army. Sergeant James Cameron, U.S. Air Force. Master Sergeant William McKee, U.S. Air Force. Staff Sergeant Robert Hornbaker, U.S. Air Force. Corporal Nelson Gallego, U.S. Marine Corps. Major Juan Munera, U.S. Army. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Stretch, U.S. Air Force. Technical Sergeant Kenneth Santiago, U.S. Air Force. And on one banner, there was a family of 3, Staff Sergeant Emily Crabtree, MD John Crabtree, and First Lieutenant Catherine Crabtree. I thank you all for participating. Thank you for allowing the City of Lowell to honor you and to recognize you and to say thank you.
Councilor Chau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to thank Errol Lamarche and administration for organizing this ceremony. It's such a beautiful tribute. I had the opportunity earlier in the mayor's reception room to listen to the many wonderful stories and histories from family members. What is clear is that When a family member serves in the services, it's the entire family serve, and it's a huge sacrifice. We are here today to honor them for our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Chau. Councilor Descoteaux.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Mr. Lamache had just pointed out, we have 29 banners, and I know we're probably looking for another spot. I would suggest that maybe the Mickey Ward Circle would probably be a great spot to have the remaining banners be put.
Thank you, Councilor Descoteaux. Seeing no one else, I want to recognize Councilor Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know we have an event coming up in Centerville this Saturday, or Monday, actually, for the Memorial Day. I don't know if there's any space over there to put a couple of the banners as well.
Director Lamache is shaking his head. He'll look into it for you. Definitely. Anyone else? Director Lamache, thank you again. This is the 4th year this program has been put in place, and we can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your daily schedule to recognize the sacrifices others gave to all of us in this city to make it a special place, and we thank you again from the entire City Council. While we're under suspension of rules, if we could do 2.3 and 2.4, the citations, and we'll come back to 2.2 because the DPW director is checking a heat issue, and he'll be up very shortly. So we'll do 2.3. 2.3, citation, Albert Ferreras. If Albert wants to come up to the mic. Albert, if you just come right up to the mic, and I'll read this for you. We have an official citation, be it hereby known to all, that the City of Lowell and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts hereby offers its sincere congratulations to Albert Ferreras. The City of Lowell recognizes Albert Ferreras for his exceptional meritorious service and achievements as a runner. A graduate of Greater Lowell Technical High School, Albert has had tremendous success in the running world, being the first student to win a Division state title and the first to compete at a national level, racing against top athletes from across the country. After high school, Albert attended Merrimack College, where he has continued his academic and athletic journey. During his time, he earned the recognition of Rookie of the Week and was named to the NECC All-Conference team for cross country. However, after some time, he had made the decision to step away and take a break, a year-long break from both school and running. In 2025, he found his way back to the sport with a new goal in mind, which was qualifying for the Boston Marathon, in which he did just that. After 4 months of intense training, he ran his first marathon in Geneva, Illinois, finishing in 2 hours and 40 minutes and 22 seconds, 48 minutes and 22 seconds. With his newfound purpose and passion, he is returning to both the academic and athletic, attending the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Eric R. Gitschier, on behalf of the entire City Council and the residents of Lowell, hereby extend our deepest congratulations to Albert Ferreras for his journey of persistence, growth, and rediscovery. We wish you the best of luck in your new endeavors, given this 19th day of May of 2026. Albert, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank everyone who made this award possible, and especially to my mom, Lisa Nieves, who made this whole dream possible and was my biggest supporter all throughout my life. And that is all.
Do you want to come in? Albert, do you want to come in for a picture?
Sure, why not?
the next one we have? So at this point, we'll go to 2.4, citation, Asian American Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. I'm going to turn the mic over to Vice Mayor Nuon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So every May of every year, this country recognizes the Asian American and Islander Pacific Heritage Month. This year, like most, as we reflect on the past, resilience, creativities, and unity that strengthen our shared story as a city and a nation, let us also, Mr. Mayor and my colleague, look forward, committed ourselves to building a future that every voice is heard, every culture is respected, and every person has the opportunity to thrive. This year, Mr. Mayor, we have recognized 2 nonprofit organizations and 3 individuals. They have been tremendous in terms of their contribution, especially these 2 nonprofit organizations, immeasurable. They've done so much for the community, for the city, in terms of bring the culture, the rich culture, and history to our city. First on the list, I would like to invite a member of Uncle Dan's troop to come up to the podium and say a few words, and we present them with citation, because mind you that the citation is so long, the work they've done, I can read it, for 2 minutes, more than 2 minutes, but then again, there's so many of the citations, so I would invite the Uncle Dan Troop members to come up to the podium and say a few words.
Thank you, Boo. Thank you, everyone that is here to support us. Also, thank you to the counselor that is here in Lowell, and of course, Councilor Nuon and the mayor. For those who have supported us since 1986, Asian American community has been making history here in America, particularly Cambodian American here. The Anchor Dance Troupe is thankful for the recognition of this citation for AAPI month and for the continuous support of our organization. On behalf of our board and our executive director, Bora Tiumrum, who could not be here with us today, thank you for this honor. Our mission is to connect community through preservation, education, and innovation of Cambodian performing arts. This year marked a 40-year anniversary of Anchor Dance Troupe. Recently, we just partnered up with the Merrimack Repertory Theater to premiere our most ambitious production to date, A Khmer Swan Lake, and interpret a reinterpretation of a Khmer Swan Lake through the lens of Cambodian classical dance. The production became one of the most successful shows that MRT have hosted for the season. Thank you. We are also especially proud of the production featuring 10 principal dancers here from Cambodian American diaspora and 10 dancers from the Anchor Dance Troupe and members of our youth ensemble. Please save the date for our gala this October 17, 2026 at Lindsay. Thank you, and we hope to celebrate this month with everybody else in the community.
Thank you.
Should we go up for a picture?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, before I go to the next organization, if I could ask my fellow board member, my fellow city council, if they want to say a few words. Maybe we want to put the picture at last, Mr. Mayor, of all those people, the five people, the 2 organizations and 3 individuals, but they're all in one.
Does anybody have any?
A happy family. So I just want to see if my colleague want to say a few words before we go to the next.
Seeing no one, Councilor.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, Councilor Chau.
No, I do want to, thanks for the invitation, and I just want to congratulate the Ankle Dance Troupe. What a long way the organization have come from. Started with barely nothing. I know the former teachers, the former founders started working at factory setting actually, and was able to find time to recruit one student and teach one student at a time and grow the programs. And during the 1980s, a difficult time in Lowell as well. And I know the founders work with the police department for community policing, make it friendly. And the dance troupe, classical dancing, was a way for the young adults to really keep the traditions. I was proud that my niece was one of the star dancers back then. I'm dating myself, but back in the 80s. So it's always been a great program that the Ankle Dance has been doing, and now doing like the Khmer Swan, operatic style even. So it's what a tradition is that you have grown. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Councillor Sakari.
Thank you, Councilor Chau. Seeing no one else? Vice
Mr. Mayor, next, Mr. Mayor, on the list, another nonprofit organization who's also have done so much since the All-American City. This has a really big impact in terms of how City of Lowell was named as All-American City because of this organization, the Southeast Asian, Mr. Mayor, Southeast Asian Water Festival. This will be there. I know they say they're going to try to be here, but they too has been very impactful. Every year's second week of August, there'll be like at least 30 to 40,000 people. The Merrimack River, along Merrimack River, bringing businesses to the Cambodian town area and the City of Lowell. They have done so much for our city. So I want to thank them also. We have citation for them. They can come and pick it up at the mayor office if they are not here tonight. But they say they're going to try to be here. The next on the list, Mr. Mayor, an individual, Srivan Night. I think Councillor Chau has her citation, Mr. Mayor. I turn to Councillor Chau on that.
Councilor Chau.
Thank you both, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I ask Bong Sri Vanget to step to the podium, please? Back there, you're right behind me. And Sri Van, she's also a good friend of mine as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Chau. I'm a parent also, and also my honor and pleasure to be a part with the community. I know to be a parent is not easy, but I work really hard and get support from family and community, especially to City Law that make like the community to be a part and belong here. My honor and pleasure to say thank you for everyone to think about me and support me to live in here. I just feel comfortable and I feel belong in here. Thank you so much.
So, Mr. Mayor, quickly, Sri Van is a perfect example that you don't need a title, you don't need an office. She just do it in the community. Every free time that you have the CBA, I see you at the City Center all the time, helping our families and the kids all the time. So we are very appreciative of Sri Van in our community.
Thank you, Councilor Chau. Vice Mayor, Councilor Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With all these presentations, I just want to say, when you stop and think of how lucky we are in the city of Lowell, we would never see this if it wasn't for immigrants coming here and sharing with us their beautiful dress, their beautiful food, their delicious food, their beautiful dance. And they did teach me how to do that, so I can do that. I just can't bend my fingers back as far as the ladies can do that, but I am so amazed, and thank you for sharing your culture with this city. We're very, very honored. This is what makes our city so great. And dance is an art, and we have a motto that says, art is the handmaid of human good. This is all good. This is all human, and this is all sharing. And I'm so grateful that everyone came here, and we're proud to honor you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, I just want to comment a little bit about what Councilor Mercier said. If you, Mr. Mayor, can bend your hand all this way, take practice. Councilor Mercier can do it too.
I don't think so. I'll break my fingers.
Next, Mr. Mayor, on the list, I would turn to Councilor Ling to recognize the next two individuals. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. So I just want to take an opportunity just a little bit to, I'm going to try and read this, and because it's really important to the folks that come here, and they come here with their families and friends and colleagues. So, but before that, I just want to give a shout out because the very first time I received a citation from the city of Lowell was 2003. Yes. And guess who was the mayor who signed it for me? Right there. Thank you. So I guess for the community, it's very important. So I'm going to try and read this, and hopefully I can go in 2 minutes so that I will give opportunity to our guests to speak also. This is for Mr. Covet who's a very dear friend of mine as well. The City of Lowell recognizes Covet for his continuous contribution to Lowell and his commitment to serving others in honor of AAPI Heritage Month. Covet embodied community service through his work in cultural outreach and support for the Cambodian community. He is a member of the GLHA Community Outreach Team, where he has led interpreted community meetings such as the Senior in Action Initiative, which empowered older Cambodian residents to advocate for their peers' well-being, access resources, and promote social inclusion. Covet is also recognized for his role in preserving cultural tradition. In 2014, after a tragic Branch Street fires in Lowell that claimed the life of several family members, he offered to arrange the traditional Buddhist 7-day memorial services for the affected families, showing both his commitment to cultural practice and keep personal connection to the community. So now, therefore, I, Mayor Eric R. Gitschier, on behalf of the entire City Council and resident of Lowell, hereby extend our deepest respect and appreciation to Covet Kretz for his commitment to giving back to the community, given this 19 days of May 2026. Bon Covet, could you come to the podium?
Well, thank you very much, Councillor Cindy Liang and rest of the Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council of Lowell. I thought just like after 33 years with the Department of Health and Human Services, and I thought I retired already about 9 years ago, but still continue to get involved in this Cambodian community and also the community at large, especially Lowell. I still want to say thank you very much that for the honor of this citation, especially during this month of May, that as we celebrate and recognize the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And also congratulate to all the recipients today. That's, I believe, that one in on the list as well, next to me. Again, that Lowell give me a sense of a challenge and a sense of belonging. I feel at home when I come to Lowell, even though so that I live next door to Lowell. But I spend most of time in my retirement age to come to Lowell and to socialize with people in this community. And again, it was such an honor to be here today and to be recognized as one of the community members. Thank you.
So,
Thank you. With that, motion to accept and place on file
I
by,
have one more.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilman.
Yes,
Oh, Councilor Yang.
yes, lastly, the recipient is not here today, but his family, they're here. He was admitted into Lowell General on Sunday, so we'll send him best wishes as well. It's a very insightful, I guess, citation about his life, about how he's came to the city of Lowell as a refugee, and met his wife in the camp, and also with a family of special need. Richard Chun came to Lowell and also managed to launch a auto shop. It's called Saret Auto on Broadway Street. He's very special in a way where, in the old days, where you have a family that own an auto shop, but at the same time helping the community go to work, help the community get their cars, go to pick up their children. So he had a lot of people from all over the world, Cambodia, Ghana, Haiti, Brazil, Mexico, that came to his shop. The best part about Mr. Chun was that he helped those people that really in need. These people brought in their oil, brought in their brakes, brought in their fluids, and he helped them without charging money, knowing that the community needs them. And on top of that, his wife would bring in lunch and serve the mechanic on a daily basis. So on this day, it's an honor for me to also give this citation to his family. His son is here. So I just want to make sure, read the last part here so that he noticed, and I think he's watching also, that Richard worked hard to support his family and his community and instill in his children the value of gratitude, kindness, and compassion. So lastly, therefore, I, Mayor Eric Gitschier, on behalf of the entire City Council and resident of Lowell, hereby extend our deepest appreciation to Richard Chun for his strength and the service he provided to the Lowell resident. Given on this 19th day of May 2026, Eric R. Gitschier, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, yes, so we would like to thank the city of Lowell, his lovely wife here. Can't be more proud of my dad. He's been running his business for 25 years. Hopefully I can do it for another 25 years, make it 50. And yeah, thank you everybody. You want to say anything? No.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Nuon, do you want to take a picture with them while they're here? Okay, if they can come in, we'll all take a picture. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Nuon, seconded by Councilor Chau. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Councilor Robinson. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. While we're under suspension of the rules, I'd move to take 6.6 out of order.
Motion by Councilor Robinson to take 6.6 out of order, seconded by Councilor McDonough. While we're under suspension of the rules,
I thought we had DPW coming up.
he just asked for this to come first. Okay, so you want to do DPW first?
Well, that's part of it, isn't it?
It's up to you guys.
You're the boss.
You're the boss. Yes, Vice Mayor Nuon, yes.
Is that DPD?
So there was no second to the motion. We'll come back
One
to
is
it.
that?
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Which one?
There's take 6.6 out of order, seconded by Councilor Descoteaux. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered.
Mr. Mayor, I vote to table this motion. Vote, please.
Motion by Councilor Rook to table 6.6,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Nuon. Roll call.
Counsel Robinson.
No.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Scott.
Yes.
Counsel Chow.
Yes.
Counsel Descoteaux.
Yes.
Counsel Mayor Gitschier.
No.
Counsel Juran.
Yes.
Counsel Liang. Counsel McDonough.
No.
Counsel Mercier.
Can we have a
Can't discuss on a table.
Counsel Mercier.
No.
Counsel Nuon.
Yes.
6 votes, motion's tabled.
6.6 has been tabled. Back to the original portion of the meeting agenda. 2.1, communication, remote Zoom participation. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Mercier, seconded by Councilor McDonough. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 2.2, proclamation, National Public Works Week. If the DPW Commissioner would come to the podium. City of Lowell and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, by His Honor Eric R. Gitschier, Mayor, a proclamation. Whereas the dedicated employees of the Department of Public Works work tirelessly throughout every season and in all conditions to ensure the efficiency, delivery, of services.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I have a point of order.
Wait a minute.
Can I finish?
You finished the citation, yeah.
Thank you. Including sanitation, snow removal, street maintenance, engineering, and environmental protection, helping to keep Lowell a clean, safe, and thriving community. And whereas the National Public Works Week serves as an opportunity to recognize and thank the hardworking Public Works employees whose commitment, professionalism, and service contribute significantly to the strength, stability, and continued growth of the City of Lowell. Therefore, I, Eric R. Gitschier, Mayor of the City of Lowell, do hereby proclaim May 17th to the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week in the City of Lowell, and encourage all residents to recognize and express appreciation for the invaluable contributions made by our Public Works professional each and every day, given this day, 19th day of May 2026. Thank you. Commissioner, if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you to everyone, Mayor Gitschier and the council. I can't thank you enough for the support that you always lend to all of us at the DPW. The people at home or in the chamber here often hear me say that we're spokes in a wheel. We all have a different job to do, but the wheel doesn't work without each one of the spokes. So I'm grateful to everyone in the different divisions that we have, the men and women that come in, as you say, through the proclamation in the middle of the night, on weekends, and when their need is most dire. So I thank you again for recognizing this week. It's a great week for us, and thanks for everyone back at the DPW.
Thank you. I will always say that the Department of Public Works is the third arm of public safety, and we can't thank you guys enough for keeping us safe during all hazards and all throughout the year. Would anyone else have anything to say? Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I myself worked here in Public Works, and I understand it takes a serious commitment to answer that call at 1:30 in the morning when everyone else is sleeping sound tight, to make sure the roads are clear. And the concern is, I mean, the mayor and myself will speak in the winter months especially, and when people are trying to make the decisions on whether or not school's going to open on time, and many other questions and concerns. So I thank the Public Works Department for all they do, not just winter operations, but when we get bombarded with the pothole calls, you guys and your team are the ones that respond, so, and everything in between. Gratefully appreciated, and thank you all.
Thank you. If you'd come up for the proclamation. Councilor McDonough.
Never mind. It's not worth it.
Thank you. 3, City Clerk. 3.1, minutes of the Auditor, Clerk, Oversight, and Personnel Subcommittee, May 12th. City Council regular meeting, May 12th for acceptance. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Nuon. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 4, City Council motions. 4.1, Councilor Descoteaux, request the city manager contact state delegation to report on state reimbursement to city for charter schools, and if reimbursement is unlikely, request state delegation submit legislation to change, adjust the formula for reimbursement, seconded by Councilor Juran. Councilor Descoteaux.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The charter school sending tuition is a state-controlled assessment, which withheld directly from Lowell's Chapter 70 aid each year. The city does not appropriate this expenditure, rather is deducted from state aid through the cherry sheet. By FY 2027, the Lowell's charter school sending tuition has reached $52.32 million, rising by almost $26.8 million since FY 2020. State reimbursements have not kept pace, declining from their FY 2023 peak and providing only partial relief relative to year-over-year assessment increases. The result is a recurring net charter impact that places a significant and growing burden on the city's budget. FY 26 saw a net hit of $6.5 million, while FY 27 adds another $2.24 million. This double impact, higher assessments combined with diminished reimbursement, is now a consistent structural feature of Lowell's financial environment and must be reflected in FY 27 budget planning. Last week at our city council meeting, there was a young lady who spoke. I believe her name was Miss Lundberg, and she caught my attention when she said that she approached a person from the state delegation, and they had no idea what she was talking about, which kind of caught my ire a little bit because, Mr. Baldwin, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, we did send a letter to the state legislation last year with regards to this. It was a motion made by me that I saw this as a recurring problem for years to come, and this is going to have severe financial implications to the city. Is that not correct?
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That you are correct, Councilor, and over my tenure here, it is a request we've made of the legislature a number of times. However, it doesn't mean we can't send more requests.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So what am I saying? And I'm trying not to be rude here, but I want our state legislation to do their job. They're not doing their job. The city of Lowell cannot sustain this. We're looking at these enormous amount of money, and that money could have saved jobs. and it's not happening. We're also looking at budget busts with pension, health insurance. These are areas that we're going to have each and every year. And let's not be naive here, folks. We're all going to be sitting here next year deliberating this budget, and we're going to be looking at possible layoffs, possible property tax increases, just because of these budget busters. A state delegation needs to do their job and do it now. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Descoteaux. Councilor Chau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wholeheartedly support Councilor Descoteaux's motion to get the state delegation involved and engaged and to pay attention to what's going on in our city. The budget, the structural deficit is huge, and it is damaging. And for edification and for the public watching us from home, I just want the CFO to briefly discuss the exact cost to the charter school assessment. So through you, Mr. Mayor, to the CFO, what is the charter school assessment, and how much is the state reimbursing us, the city?
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And you will hear us discuss this during the budget hearing as we have in the past, but it is a very serious challenge for gateway cities like Lowell. As Councilor Descoteaux mentioned, in the 27 budget, the assessment that was included in the Senate Ways and Means budget is $52.3 million. When I first started as the CFO in 2014, that assessment was $13 million. So you can maybe appreciate the growing cost over that period of time. And on the other side is the reimbursement. This year in the proposed budget from the state, the reimbursement is $8.9 million, and that is it's pursuant to a declining formula. So when a child goes to a charter school, they change the reimbursement formula from to 100%, 60%, 40%. So we get 100% of a reimbursement in the next year. The second year the child's at the school, it drops down to 60%. The subsequent year it's to 40%, and then it's zero thereafter. So that $9 million reimbursement that we see in 2027 will decline, which will further exacerbate this issue on the city of Lowell and our neighbors in gateway cities.
Thank you, Mr. CFO. As you mentioned, the reimbursement is very, very small compared to the cost that the city is responsible for, and it is we're not able to sustain this if we're not going to be able to change the funding formula. And I agree with Councilor Descoteaux. The delegation have to work harder to bring the funding back to the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Chau. Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilor Chau just mentioned most of what I was going to say, but this is just another, first off, I commend my colleague for this motion. This is another unfunded mandate. It has not been fully funded for many years that I've been involved in the schools. And I don't know if there's any way to break down, I guess, what the burden is on taxpayers, I guess, with this unfunded, portion from the state. So it's something I guess I'd like to see is what this does to the tax rate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Scott. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. And I also thank my colleague for following this. Again, we're talking about pretty much an alternative to our public school system, where our public school system has to accept every child and provide that education. This state-awarded charter alternative education program, they're expanding grades that they're teaching. And so with the expansion, what are we looking at? If a child opts into a charter school at elementary level, by the time they're into a charter high school, and that is the push to expand in a lot of these areas, we haven't received money, reimbursement at least, from the state for quite some time at that point. I mean, when it was first rolled out, they were primarily, 2-year, 4-year programs. I know there was some that had criteria that you had to have dropped out of school, and it was like an alternative to a GED. But now this is full-blown expansion, and it's pretty much full-blown direct competition to Lowell Public. So I think this is a great motion, and I'd like to see our state delegation file something. Where that goes, again, none of us here know. But if we don't speak up on this, where are we going to be? And I think my colleague pointed it out pretty eloquently last. Thank you.
I just have one question for the CFO. What is the breakdown per student cost Do you know that, or could we get that for budget time?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd be happy to provide that information in the report, as well as the taxpayer impact. That is something we'll calculate. What I do have available is from DESE. There are 4 charter schools, where 3 of them are in Lowell. 1 has Lowell kids. That's the Innovation Academy in Tingsboro. So the Lowell Community Charter School has 815 students enrolled, 140 at the Lowell Middlesex Academy, 1,200 at the Collegiate Charter School, and then approximately 318 at the Innovation Academy. So if you divide the 52 million by that, the sum total, we'll put all of that in the report because it is, like I said, a very serious financial challenge that is not going away in the near term.
I think it's important to have those numbers, because if we're spending 50,000 on a student to go there and we're spending 14 to 16 here, I think we can dive into those numbers, but I think every student deserves to have some funding going somewhere. Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 4.2, Councilor Mercier requests the city manager provide a list of the ARPA-funded positions, name/amount of pay, as well as a list of new hires from within a year and a half ago. Seconded by Councilor Nuon. Councilor Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This motion asks for information to put my mind at ease in my goal to offer fairness across the board with respect to the fiscal 27 budget. I know they say that life isn't fair, but when it comes to my input into anything, I must be fair. I'm concerned about ARPA-funded positions, or in other words, people hired temporarily through ARPA funding. The key word here is temporary. Therefore, I need more information before I look at this budget. Those employees hired last should be the first to go. I'm sorry to say it, but that's how I feel. Someone that gave a quarter of their life to the service of the city should not be the first to get a severance letter, while someone recently hired by a temporary funding source stays on. This, to me, is not fair. I need an explanation. And when I say they got a severance letter, in 2020, the past council in 2020, of which I was a part of, we passed a ban on NDAs. That is a non-disclosure agreement, and I'm wondering if the letter that they signed was an NDA, because it isn't allowed. That's what I want to know about that. Secondly, this council and many past councils had a goal to keep the city from facing brownouts. The most important factor for me in any city, in any budget, is public safety. Police and fire are the utmost priority in establishing a budget. It took us very long to prevent brownouts in our city, and I don't want to revert back to the old days, especially when we saw the vast number of recent fires in the city. So until I see the answers to the ARPA funding and the council and Councilor Juran's information request, because that's a very good motion too, I ask through this motion if we could delay it till I get the answers. If the answers are presented already, fine, but I still need to make a determination before I look at this budget any further. We can only accept the budget. We can make cuts to the budget or reject the budget. I'm asking to delay the budget hearing until we can get some answers and come back with a budget that will be fair for all and reflect my hopes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mercier. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I thank Councilor Mercier for a great motion. The only thing I would ask, if it's okay with the maker of the motion, would be just a slight amendment to have this request the city auditor, only because I know that Ms. Oakes has already gone through the trouble of getting all of the ARPA-funded positions compiled into a spreadsheet, and so I think where the work's already been done, we don't need to have two departments do this. And also thank you, Ms. Oaks for my list of ARPA-funded positions.
Councilor Mercier, Councilor McDonough would like to add an amendment to a request the city auditor provide the list of ARPA-funded positions, name, amount of pay, as well as a list of new hires from within a year and a half ago. It's up to you, Councilor Mercier.
Councilor.
So he just wants to change the position of your motion. Instead of the city manager, he would like the city auditor to provide you the list.
I don't care who provides it as long as I have the answers. That's all. I don't care if the city solicitor provides it or Melissa, but I just like to have it. That's all.
Okay.
I don't have it. I don't have what I'm asking.
He said the auditor has it already.
Oh, well, then I'd like someone to present it.
Okay, all right. So, any other questions on this? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 4.3, Councilor Nuon, request the city manager have an appropriate department look to install a four-way stop sign on the corner of South Loring and Shaw Street, seconded by Councilor Robertson. Councilor Nuon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a little to add on it because a resident called and asked to have that happen. So I'll ask that the managers and his team look into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Nuon. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 4.4, Councilor Juran, request the city manager provide information about last week's layoffs, overview of decision-making process, list of eliminated positions by department and by union, demographics of laid-off employees, length of service, gender, ethnicity, residency, how affected employees were notified and treated regarding severance, and close out their relationships with the city, resulting budget savings and concessions offered by particular unions. What lessons were learned? Seconded by Councilor McDonough. Councilor Juran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know this has been a tough week for everybody, and having been an employee and manager when layoffs occurred, I understand how painful and sad a layoff is for everyone involved. Obviously, the laid-off employee, but also their family, their colleagues, the manager and other decision makers, and really everyone in the organization and its customer base, which in this case is all Lowell residents. Decisions about whether and how to lay off employees are never easy and require balancing a number of considerations. And when I've been in that role, I've agonized over those considerations and had to balance my personal feelings for individuals with the obligations I had to the organization to make the hard-nosed decisions that I thought were best for the organization. Everyone can opine that they would have made a different decision in the same circumstances, laying off person X but not person Y, or position A but not position B, or people in Department C but not Department D, while others would have made other choices. And that's because none of these decisions are black and white, and each could have been done differently and sometimes could have been done better. But because the decision makers are human beings, perfection isn't possible. So that said, now that the layoffs process has occurred, I think residents and employees alike deserve to learn more about the process, as well as general information about the affected employees. I'm not asking for names or performance information or any confidential information. I don't believe we should ask for or get that kind of personnel or confidential information. But subject to that, I think we need to be as open as possible about the process so that residents can learn that, hopefully, decisions were made with as much fairness as possible in a tough situation, and we can learn what we might have done better so that we can improve as a city. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Nuon, if you could.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Nuon. I totally disagree with Councilor Juran. We're in 2026. This city has been around for 200 years. We've had layoffs before. We know the humane way of doing it. We should understand positions from people, who they are. When you see a 26-year employee get laid off, and someone less senior to them stay with the same exact position in the same exact office, there's problems. We should know this by our list. We got the list today in an email, and it's verified. This should not happen in these days. We should be scrubbing these things and making sure before anybody is handed anything, a separation agreement or a layoff, whatever anyone wants to call it. If they want to call it a separation agreement, through you, Mr. Vice Mayor, to the solicitor. Was this a layoff or was it a separation agreement?
City Solicitor. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. What exactly are you referring to?
The letter that was given, was that a layoff or was it a separation agreement that the employees were asked to sign?
All right.
There's a letter that asked them to give up their rights to union requirements to keep their mouths quiet that they were asked to sign in language. Is that considered a separation?
Yes.
Voluntary separation? Or is that called a layoff notice?
The title at the top of it is separation agreement.
Which is different than a layoff notice, right? You've been in the unions for a very long time. You know the difference between a layoff and a separation, correct?
Yeah, that's why it says separation.
Yeah, of course, because you didn't give it to the unions, and first, because you wanted this to be sign off on your rights so that you have no bumping rights and you're gone. And that was the premise of this, and it was in total distaste. And they had no representation. The union wasn't given that letter beforehand, and that's why I disagree with this motion in that way. It was a separation agreement. It was not a layoff. And there's a major difference between the two. That's why, as the city solicitor said, it says separation at the top. It was targeted at certain people. We can go around and around and around any way you want with your language, the way you put it. It's a sad way of doing business in 2026 to employees. You can use that smug face over there. You're not the one getting laid off. And that's the sad part.
It hasn't control, Mr. Mayor.
Well, we should have a point of order. There's no question. People should be able to control themselves when questions are being asked.
You have your turn in a minute. Let the mayor finish.
The point is that it wasn't a layoff at that point to the employees. As Councilor Juran put, we can learn from this. These employees should have been treated better. And in 2026, we all know that this was totally wrong. And I hope that we can make the right corrections going forward. That's all it is. We should not be handing out separation agreements, as Councilor Mercier highlighted it when she was talking. And that's all I got to say on it.
We'll bring the mayor back.
Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess you stole my first question that I have scribbled on my piece of paper. So I guess now that we know that it's not a layoff, it's a voluntary separation agreement out of the way, I don't have to ask that question. So the follow-up to that, and also to some of what Councilor Juran said in making the motion, I totally understand where the motion came from if this was a layoff, and I think there was reason for all of us to think it was a layoff, which is unfortunate. But in a layoff, I guess, Mr. Mayor, through you to the appropriate person here, I'll make it a question. In a layoff, I think typically one would expect the collective bargaining agreements to be followed in terms of who loses employment, right? Where the layoff notice goes, also there'd be recall rights if that position were to need to be filled within, depending on the union, 1 to 3 years. Is that correct?
Mr. Manager? Mr. Solicitor?
Thank you. Yep, so that is absolutely how it works, and it depends on the language in each particular contract.
Well, thank you, Mr. Solicitor. So I guess in that case, if that's exactly how it works, but it's not how it worked in this case, I don't think, unless, Mr. Mayor, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but the year 2000 is before the year 2013? Mr. Mayor, through you to the city solicitor?
Correct.
Get to the questions.
Yeah, this is a question. The question is...
Councilor Rourke, you don't have the floor. He has the floor. If you can't behave, I mean, come on. He lets people talk. Let's stay in line here.
Well, the question is, without looking at any specific department and not throwing out a specific name, if you have two employees that have the same job title and the same job description, if we followed the collective bargaining agreement and we did a layoff, then one would expect the employee from 2000 would still be coming to work and the employer from 2013 would be looking to exercise bumping rights if they had any, or otherwise they would be at the layoff. But that is not what happened, is it?
Solicitor Williams.
Thank you. So are you referencing an employee that was in which union? Because that's very important.
1705.
I think we're walking on collective bargaining rights in between, and there could be grievances.
I think, yeah, well,
I'm just trying to protect the city in this case, saying, look, you're walking on the end when you start talking about specific collective bargaining units, and it's not really something you want.
No, I think my question really is just that if you sign, you give someone a voluntary separation agreement, which is distinct from a layoff, you have a lot more flexibility in who you decide to give it to. And in this case, there are several employees, and I'm not singling anyone out specifically other than in that question, that have worked for the city for 20 plus years, and they were handed a voluntary separation. And you have, to Councilor Mercier's point earlier, employees who are much newer, who are still in the job. And I do think that's wrong. And to Councilor Juran, I would say these decisions are not easy. I don't pretend they are, but the benefit of following a layoff procedure and going through a negotiated CBA is that the decisions are kind of made for us. You look at a list and you go down the positions. That's not what happened here. I do want to look at the voluntary separation agreement. And I do have a specific question, and nobody from the city gave this, so I just have it. My question, first question, is going to reference lines 8 and lines 15. Line 8, it is long, but it roughly says, in consideration of the benefits mutually provided, blah, blah, okay. Releases and discharges the city of Lowell for any claims presently has, ever had, or may ever have, arising out of or related to his or her employment with the city of Lowell, any other claims of any kind or any nature, if applicable, shall include any rights of appeal provided for by collective bargaining agreement, specifically any right to file a grievance, arbitration, or administrative appeal. So in addition to the rest of it, we ask them to give up their union rights. Okay. Line 15 also seems to say that because this is the final agreement, the parties aren't subject to any other agreement, they would have no right to recall either, right? So if there was a recall right up to 3 years, now you sign this, you don't have a right to recall, and you also can't grieve us for no recall. So that's interesting. To Councilor Mercier's point earlier regarding the non-disclosure agreement, this one I'll make a real question. The parties agree they will not make any oral or written communication to any person or entity which has the effect of damaging either one's reputation or otherwise working in any way to either's detriment. That does kind of sound like we're putting a gag order on people who are losing their job, Mr. Mayor. And to Councilor Mercier's point, this council voted in 2020. It was a unanimous vote on a motion by then Councilor Elliott to prohibit the use of non-disclosure agreements. So I would like the city manager to evaluate that provision of the separation agreement. And the very last thing I have, and I'm sorry, I don't usually speak this long uninterrupted, is because I don't. I have a brief point, but this is a long one. Given the voluntary separation agreement, I did go to the city code book, and I would like to ask a question about chapter, so it's part 1, chapter 56-8C, where so 1 is in parentheses. For employees whose services are terminated without fault of their own and whose termination is otherwise than by death or retirement, the City of Lowell, acting through its city manager, by written agreement with said employees and with a vote of approval of the City Council, may provide to said employees upon termination, and it continues with a whole list of severance benefits, which largely amount to several weeks of pay or sick leave or whatever. And I guess I'm wondering, because these weren't layoffs and they were voluntary separations, and we do have something in the code book that seems to indicate this should have come to us, and we did have executive sessions, I'm just wondering why we weren't made aware of the voluntary separation agreements and why we weren't provided the opportunity to vote on what was included in them. That's all.
Councilor Rook. Thank you. I got other people before you, Councilor Chau. Councilor Juran.
Sorry, thank you. I want to be clear. I worded my motion very carefully so that we would be gathering facts and we would make that information public and not gather information here and there from people, willy-nilly. I do think that we, as a city, deserve the information as a whole and not get into the disputes on the council floor until we get that information and can evaluate it rather than, information I haven't seen, others may have seen. I just don't think that's the right way we should be pursuing this. So, but thank you.
Councilor Robinson, thank you. Councilor Juran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager, is the HR director is here? I have a question probably for him. I just want to know if this wasn't a layoff and this was
Want the director
separation.
to come up, Councilor Robinson?
Yes, please.
If the director of HR could come up to the microphone, please.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. During this discharge of employees, were you made aware that this was not in fact a layoff? It was going to be a separation agreement that was you asking employees to pretty much sign?
Good evening, through the mayor to city council. That is not factual.
It's a yes or no answer.
The premise is not factual, so it can't be answered yes or no.
So this was a layoff as far as you're concerned?
Everyone received a layoff notice.
A layoff notice that just directly through you, Mr. Mayor, to the solicitor. Did you describe earlier that these notices had separation agreements, voluntary separation agreements at the top of the page?
On the document that I was asked about, the agreement, yes, that was a separation agreement. Everyone also received a layoff notice. So these were two different documents entirely.
And the separation agreement was handed separate from the layoff notice?
Yes.
And were you aware this was not, there was two separate documents?
Through the mayor, through the council, there were two separate documents, yes.
And did you communicate this to the employees as you walked through? Because as Director of Human Resources, I take it that would be one of your main functions.
Each and every one of them.
So they were clearly informed that we had two separate documents that they were being asked to sign, or one was a notification and one was being asked to sign. So if you handed a layoff to an employee, why would you need somebody to voluntarily sign off on a separation agreement if they had already been notified of a layoff? Something's not adding up here. And as the Human Resource Director, is that standard practice for human resources?
Excuse me, what's the question you're presenting to me?
My question is, you notify employee of a layoff notification. Here's your document. And then document B is, oh, P.S., we'd like you to sign a voluntary separation agreement? How does that work? You've just been severed from employment in the form of a layoff, and now you're asking somebody to voluntarily separate themselves.
Through the mayor to the council, they were notified that there were being a layoff to which they were going to be placed on administrative leave. So there was a meeting with each and every individual to advise them what was happening. And that included a document which was a layoff notice and a separation agreement.
So they were both simultaneously delivered to the employees affected by this?
That is correct.
And they were fully explained as to what each of those notices that you were providing them was?
I spent that time explaining that when I met with individuals, and I instructed my staff to do the same thing. I have no reason to believe that they didn't do the same thing.
So you didn't oversee this process?
Well, that's not what I said. I said that I explained it to every member or individual I spoke with, and I explained that to my staff, and I'm sure they explained it as I instructed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 4.5, Councilor Chau requests the city manager direct the Department of Public Works and the Traffic Engineering Division to conduct a comprehensive traffic and pedestrian safety study at the intersection of Pine Street and Georgia Ave, with particular attention to school bus pickup and drop-off operations, seconded by Councilor Descoteaux. Councilor Chau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the motion mentioned, is about the school pickup and drop-off operation. There is already a crosswalk painted in that area, but that area along Pine Street, the cars are still speeding very fast. When the bus is there, the cars do stop, but as soon as the bus leave, I know we have a 25 miles per hour speed limit, but the cars in that area still speed up. This is more about child safety in that area, and there's a couple of great motion response on tonight's agenda, actually on Cross Street and Methuen Street, where it's referring to like a study with a safe street for all. I was wondering if we can put this area to be part of that grant program and to have the traffic study to make sure that area is safe for the children. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Chau. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 4.6, Councilor Robinson requests the City Council consider addressing Community Preservation Act, CPA, Community Preservation Commission, CPC, recommendations due to timelessness. Seconded by Councilor McDonough. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I know this was referred to a subcommittee quite some time ago, the recommendations that came forward from the Community Preservation Commission. We haven't met in a subcommittee, so I would hope my colleagues would be looking to bring this back out from subcommittee since it hasn't gone, and figure out, are we gonna approve or not approve, because this was referenced or to sent. We never took a vote on the recommendations from the committee.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the manager or the CFO, I believe there's some confusion around this, whether or not it was referred or not. I don't know if you can speak on that.
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to provide some clarification, we did go back and look at the minutes. There's a standard procedure we followed for the last, I think it's 3 times we've gone through appropriation of Community Preservation Act funds. DPD brings forth an informational item for the council's awareness and to sort of tee up the next steps. In the past, that has been referred to a subcommittee. The council at that meeting when we brought it forward accepted it and placed on file. So there's not an action necessarily awaiting the subcommittee. And the way I think the best next step for us is to bring the votes forward. What happens and has happened in the subcommittee prior is that there's an opportunity for the applicants to come and speak in front of the subcommittee. Subcommittee then brings the recommendation forward to the body. We can certainly do that after the budget at one of the meetings in June. There's no expiration date on the funding, so it would be perfectly appropriate at one of the meetings in June after we complete the budget to bring those votes forward. We can invite the members of the Community Preservation Committee there as well. I'm sure they'd be happy to attend.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All set, Councilor Scott. Councilor Descoteaux.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I agree with Councilor Robinson. The timeliness for some of these recipients receiving this money it's kind of gone past a little bit. I would like this to go in front of the full committee rather than go to a subcommittee. I really don't. I think we can hash it out right here as soon as we possibly can schedule that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Descoteaux. Mr. Manager? Oh, okay. Councilor McDonough?
I thank you to everyone, and thank you to the manager for the very quick response. My only question would be the Downtown Neighborhood Association has a request in for $26,000 was, I believe, how much they put in. I know that the full thing is going to come in June. They are chomping at the bit. DCR is ready to go. They just need the money to be able to move. I'm wondering is there any way we can approve it? Not tonight. Can we take that one item before we get into it on all the various projects that I think people have some strong feelings on? I don't want to. That's all.
Assistant City Manager Baez-Rose. I'm sorry, this is CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We can do that as soon as practical. I think, to have the proper form on the agenda, the soonest we can do, I suppose it's up to the body. We could put them on the agenda for the budget night. Then our next meeting, because the council voted to amend the June schedule, we could certainly have those on for the very next meeting, the very next regular meeting in June, and that request, as all requests, will be on along with those, if that's acceptable.
I do also just want to add that even that the vote is just the start of getting grant agreements put in place. So it's not as if the council would take a vote and then we'd be able to quickly cut checks for any of the projects. We do in fact have to send the votes over to the law department. They have to create grant agreements that have to be executed by all of the parties. And until those are fully executed, people can't spend any money. So we don't want anybody spending any money in advance of a fully executed grant, because then they won't be able to get money reimbursed. So please don't spend any money.
Thank you. No one spend any money. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 4.7, Councilor Robinson, Councilor McDonough, Mayor Gitschier requests the city manager have the proper department work with the city council to carve out a requirement as part of the application process for utility companies to provide all supporting documentation that justifies replace versus repair of utility property. No second needed. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. This has came up in a couple weeks, multiple times, and it appears that there is a strong demand for information, transparency. So what this motion, the intent of it is, just like if you went to the RMV, you want to apply for a rail ID, these are the required documents to submit your application. As long as you submit the required documents, part of your application, then you move through in the process. This looks to tie those supporting documents to the application. So before it even hits the council for a referral to the wire inspector or anything, part of the agenda, the public can go online, look at, okay, we have votes or that need to be decided on utility jobs. Part of that should have that link to the submitted document package that's on inception of the application. And I think that's potentially where the break has been. We hear they do submit. Well, I think if we can work that into the first step of that process, and it's a requirement to be submitted with the application, and then it allows us to provide a link to that documentation so the public can go on and look at that information, and if they agree or disagree, that's not, but we're just basically trying to carve out a mechanism that attaches their justification for the decisions they made to the point of application. Thank you.
Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that they provide, it's like a 400-page report that goes to the wire inspector. I think part of what I would hope to get out of a motion like this is maybe just like a plain language cover sheet kind of deal. So one of the, and I get it, it's National Grid and it's Boston Gas. One of the things that I have to do, or that you have to do if you work in special education, is you have to do this narrative summary of your whole meeting. So you get this 50-page report that you write on a kid, and then right on the front, you smack a page, and it's like 6 questions, and you put like 5 sentences. Sometimes you put more of just, in one of those questions is what options were considered and rejected at the meeting. And I think, if I'm listening to the public, really what they're looking for is what options were considered and rejected. Of that 400-page report, really all anyone wants to see, I think, is what options were considered and why were they rejected. And then that way we're not, it's a 400-page document that looks like this. We're just putting that one little blurb in our agenda, and I would assume National Grid already knows the information. It's 4 sentences, so I would hope they can get that to us. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Councilor Juran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that's a good suggestion, but I would also put it in the context of the fact that we're having a meeting of the subcommittee next week, and I think there are a number of questions that will come out there that may help either inform us or streamline the process. So I think we should think about this in context of that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Juran. Councilor Nuon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, when you hear of 300 and 400 pages, you said, wow, that many pages, I have to go through each one of them. The wire inspector don't look at those, don't read those 300 or 400 pages. There's a certain section of it that the Boston Gas or National Grid explain why they replace it instead of repair it. How many times they come before this council or any other city in town and saying that they repair instead of replace it? Because they don't give a damn. The ratepayer pay for it. Our resident pay for it. I'm looking forward to the next council, the next subcommittee meeting, or the subcommittee meeting on the 26th, for them to explain that. We want that information. We don't want to wait until tomorrow, or next week, or week after. We want it now. If you apply it now, you present to us now.
Thank you, Councilor Nuon. Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and through to the council. To the makers of the motion, the makers, the plural here, would it be all right if we shared this with the folks to answer these questions on Thursday and then do our best to give the response at the end of it? This stuff is not obviously in our wheelhouse, but I think with Councilor Juran, I believe you're the chair of that. Nope. Okay, sorry about that. Councilor Liang, I apologize. But if it's okay, we'll reach out to them tomorrow to make sure that they have answers for this as well, and we'll try to work it out into an answer for this motion, if that's okay with the makers of the motions.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 4.8, Council Robinson, Mayor Gitschier requests the city manager provide an update on draft apprentice residency requirements assigned to the solicitor's office. No second needed. Council Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to see a draft come back out because there is some legislation that passed that pretty much carves out that it is perfectly legal for a municipality to implement some form of this. So it's been quite some time that draft was sent to the solicitor's office. I know the workload has been crazy, especially with the budget and everything, but I mean, if we can get to this maybe in June, it'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, all in favor signify by saying aye. I'm sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Communications from the city manager, 5.1, motion response, Perkins Street. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you very much. I really have very little else to say. Simple ask, simple do. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, motion to accept and place on file by Councilor McDonough, seconded by Councilor Yang. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 5.1, motion response B, raise grant. Councilor Nuon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the quick response or quick report on this, and appreciated that that you let us know that the design firm has been selected, and that the next step and all those steps, and that the construction will begin August 2032. That's a long time away. The timeline here, you indicated that the bid package for construction submitted by December 2027. How long does it take to do it for a design firm to put a design together, the plan for those four bridge?
Councilor Nuon.
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
We'll have the traffic engineer answer. She's
okay. Yeah, Liz here. Yes, Mr. Mayor, through you to the Liz.
Hi, if I may. So the design firm is getting underway. We have to go through the MassDOT design process because MassDOT is the primary receiver of the funds. Right. So we have a deadline in our grant agreement that the bid package must be issued by December 1st, 2027. Right. This is a very fast design timeline for MassDOT, 18 months essentially. So that's what we're working towards right now, is getting the design done by December 1st of 2027 to meet that grant agreement timeline and then start construction in early 2028. We are not hoping to have 4 years of construction. We're hope through the design process we'll be able to formulate a plan to get that done as quickly as possible.
So in those four bridge, you anticipated to have maybe 4 different contractors to do that?
The anticipation right now is that it is one package for one contractor for construction. It may change over the next 18 months as we go through design, but that's the plan right now is one contractor for construction.
So the funding must be expended by 2031, right? August, right?
August of 2032.
32. So would you anticipate that the project will be completed way before that?
I don't know about way. I don't want to promise way before it, but I was talking to the design engineer, and one of the things we were tossing around was if we fully close Market Street and take that hit to do construction with it closed, it could be like an 8-week process instead of an 8-month process to replace that bridge. So it's just something that we will have to talk through during the design process.
So you would start with the bridge that in a very bad shape first, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Nuon. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I really share a lot of what Councilor Nuon said, but quite a few of these bridges are right down the street from me, so I want to make sure that I also say thank you to the administration and to the traffic engineer for getting the ball rolling again on this. And I am excited to see this get across the finish line, so thank you. I'm not excited for the possibility of my street being closed for 8 weeks, but it is what it is.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Through to the council, I want to say thank you where it's due is with the U.S. Senators and Congresswoman Trahan for the work they've done. And I really have to kind of remind everybody, I think that we're in a better position than the Tiger grants that we had. It's very difficult to take this money, accept this money, work with the federal government and the state government looking back at the federal government, and I have Ms. Altman here who is watching the ping pong match. So I have to say thank you to her. When we meet weekly to discuss what has been happening with RAISE and everything else, every other horizontal project we have going on, I think it's important just to note, Councilor Nuon, your similar comment about how long this is taking, and to Councilor McDonough, I am extremely concerned with those bridges because, once again, it's something that that we've kind of kicked down the road, kick the can down the road on this stuff. But I didn't want an opportunity to go by and not say thank you to the Congresswoman because I took the opportunity to be in D.C. Actually with Chancellor Chen in some of these discussions to talk to the folks from the feds. It's been quite some time. It's a long way to go, but Ms. Altman is doing a fabulous job, and I just want to publicly acknowledge her and thank her for that.
Thank you, Manager Golden. Seeing no other questions, motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Juran, seconded by Councilor Descoteaux. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 5.1, motion response C, Methuen Street, Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. And again, thank you, Ms. Altman, and thank you, Ms. Baez-Rose. I get it. There is criteria when it comes to crash and different things, but clearly we have an issue there. It's a straightaway raceway into Drake-it, especially in this location. That intersection is extremely, and I mean, even here it is reflected in the report. Vehicle speeds were also recorded 85th percentile of the speed at which 85% of the vehicles are traveling at or below was recorded at 31. That's above the 25 that we set within city limits. Further analysis indicates that 18% of vehicles travel over that 31 and 3% over 36. And again, that's 6 to 8, 3 to 6, they're saying. But 10:30 at night, that's when they're really opening up the cars over there. So any suggestions above and beyond enforcement, because, again, enforcement works, but realistically, we don't have the manpower to station someone in these locations that we know are troublesome. So I don't understand how that MUTCD is the only pretty much deciding factor as to what we can do to assist with enforcement, because it's going to be too late if we get some bad crashes. And to cite, there's only been a couple crashes. Well, with all this combined sewer separation projects and everything else in that area too, there's a lot of rerouting of traffic. And so anything we can do in this area would be greatly appreciated, in addition to the enforcement piece. Thank you.
See no other questions. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Mercier, seconded by Councilor Nuon. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 5.1, motion response D, Cross Street. Councilor Liang.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. City Manager, for this long report. It's really nice to see the plan coming to place. I just want to put emphasis on the pedestrian safety and lighting a little bit more, just because this was an issue that keep happening, especially when the summertime is out, and also there's a lot of traffic just between the crossing area between the lot of the I guess the pool area toward the market basket, and just check that lighting, and yeah, that area seemed to be a little bit more concerning to the community. So thank you so much for the report.
Thank you, Councilor Yang. See no other questions. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Juran, seconded by Councilor Chau. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 5.1, motion response E, Lowell Fire Department, Nick Spinale. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you for the timely response. I hope my colleagues support just getting back with a report outlining the available options on this. So that vehicle exists at that point. We understand what, God forbid it has to happen again, that we offer assistance to somebody that may need it. At least the vehicle is created. Not to say that it's going to be implemented right away. I attended last night, and I know the community of Chelmsford is doing something to assist in that manner with this. But I think the second piece to this is desperately needed. I think we can all identify a problem that lies with the state. And I think any support we can send for the draft or the bill that the governor has signed in, because I mean, we could find ourselves, this community could find ourselves in the same situation any given day. So I hope that we can send that letter of support for that piece of legislation that's working its way through. In addition to, I hope my colleagues support the administration coming back just with a report on what vehicle could be used, and we can make an informed decision at that point. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Seeing no other questions, motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 5.2, information reports. Information report, traffic ordinance schedule. Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through you to the council. Just checking on 5.2, as everybody knows, we're looking at some 30-minute parking areas and opportunities for the council to take a look at this. The traffic engineer is here if there's any comments or concerns to be brought forward.
Does anyone have any comments or concerns from the council?
Yeah.
Councilor Mercier.
I got a text today from a very concerned person about a speed hump in the area of East Merrimack Street. Do we know anything about by High Street?
No.
No.
Nothing?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, if I could.
City Manager Golan.
Ms. Altman.
Hi, if I may. There's no speed humps going on East Merrimack at High Street. The engineering department is reconfiguring that intersection a little bit in a temporary condition with some ADA ramps and some striping to hopefully kind of make that intersection a little clearer until we can go in and put some islands in the future.
That's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All set, Mr. Manager? Seeing no other questions, motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Nuon. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 5.2, informational reports. Bridge Street, Jersey, barriers, letter to the state delegation. Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the council. Councilors, this is another letter we've asked in the past. This is right in front of Arthur's Diner. I know everyone's probably been to Arthur's Diner once or twice, but we are trying to get that accomplished. We're trying to get it cleaned. I know that our own DPW have tried to maintain some of the painting over there, et cetera. We're also looking to have we've requested in the past, just for edification of the people at home, to have the Bridge Street Bridge painted as well again. So there's a lot going on in that area, and we are requesting that our state delegation get on top of that. I'm extremely concerned with that Bridge Street. It's just a small span. There's a lot of folks that may not know it, but they know where Arthur's Diner is. The next time that you're going by, you'll see it there. That's been for quite some time. The Jersey barriers have been in that area, and that could create an issue in the future.
Any questions on the informational part? Council McDonough.
I just wanted to say thank you for a very, very, very quick. I know on someone's motion track, you're not going to get points for a motion response, but you should, because thank you. Whether you were going to do that before or not, I'm not sure, but either way, for those watching at home, check the box on the motion response, please, because thank you.
Thank you, Council McDonough. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Descoteaux, seconded by Councilor Chau. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 5.2, informational report, sick leave usage and overtime update for FY 2026. Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, members of the City Council, the city staff that are here, and residents of Lowell. I want to begin with the simple truth that's our responsibility, and my responsibility, is to protect the long-term financial stability of this city. The city of Lowell is heavily dependent on federal and state aid, and I think every one of us knows what's been happening. I know that our federal and state partners are doing the best that they can, but what we are experiencing and what we are seeing is an absolute seismic shift in how local government is going to be funded in our future. I'd be remiss if I did not immediately recognize that 12 of the 15 unions plus all of our ordinance employees agreed to defer their 2% COLA for 11 months. So for clarity, those unions will still receive their 2%. It'll just come June of this year coming. But they did this to prevent deeper layoffs inside their own union. This is a shared sacrifice. It's a collaboration. It's fiscally responsible. It wasn't something that I was happy to do, but I think it really showed leadership. What we did previously in the last 3 years, we know what we've been handling. We know that people were not staying here in the city of Lowell. We know that people were leaving, and we changed that, this council and previous councils. I'm incredibly humbled and grateful for the confidence these unions employees have shown me and my staff and the administration. Their willingness to work together through what is going to be a very difficult time, with difficult times to come. But yet it demonstrates the culture that I believe all of us want and what we've been striving for the past 4 years. All the decisions that we make are based on real data, and data that is moving weekly for my finance team. The finance team works as quickly and professionally as possible. They have specialized with this education over the last, and they have over a decade years of experience doing this. They have been working on this budget that's going to be presented to you next week, has already been presented to you. They've been working on this for the past 5 months. As a city manager, my focus will remain on doing what's best for the city as a whole. With that said, my administration will continue to advance the 2027 budget in a timely manner for June 1st. Our goal is to get this completed so all of our department heads have the ability to interact with it. If situations change or finances change, we could possibly, with the help of this council, file a supplemental budget to fix any of the financial changes that could be coming in months to come. All of you know that we're waiting on the House and the Senate, and all of you know that we were hit with a last-minute $1.4 million hit, 1.34, I believe that was the number. We also are very positive about what the Senate numbers were, but the House and the Senate still need to come together. But I have to stress caution. The caution that is going to be happening this November with a vote on the income tax, cutting it from 5% to 4%, this vote, if it goes through, and I've never asked anybody to vote for or against this, but the truth will be this will exacerbate our situation here and every other municipality. We are in an okay spot. We've lost people. We know that. This has been an extremely painful budget, but it's something I don't take lightly. Since 2022, this City Council and previous City Councils, along with this administration, has taken on issues that have been largely ignored for decades. We modernized our payroll. We corrected structural deficits in our parking and our trash enterprise. The fact remains that this council did that, and the can was being kicked down the road. We directed ARPA equitably throughout every part of the city and of this city. We also addressed major citywide infrastructure problems within our streets, our schools, our firehouses, our police headquarters, municipal buildings. We've been aggressive with this, and we're going to continue to do it. We further increased our reserves from $14 million to $17 million, which improved our overall bond rating. We are heading in the right direction, but I've asked a lot of this council over the last years, and it has not been easy. This commitment to long-term fiscal responsibility has positioned the city to realize significant cost savings in our future. These improvements are the direct result of fiscal discipline, not luck. This just didn't happen. This is done because of this team. The same discipline is needed now more than ever, especially from overtime throughout the city. Citywide sick leave is an area where additional controls are necessary. It's an area that my administration has worked on and will continue to work on with our employees and our union leaders. There are departments that are doing extremely well and have been responsible. As an example, the Lowell Police Department alone reduced sick time from 15,278 hours in FY23 to 10,883 hours in 2025. And currently they're on track at 9,637 hours for fiscal year 26. These improvements demonstrate what responsible management and cooperative effort with both of those unions has achieved. Before I speak about the opposite side of the spectrum, this is going to be difficult to say. My comments are nothing to do with job performance. My comments are nothing to do with the excellent care that is given to residents in the time of need. I have had family members, friends today, who serve on the fire department. I have family members that are taking the exam to become a firefighter. Our firefighters are it's an extremely difficult job, and we really truly should applaud them. However, for the last 4 years, I have raised concerns about sick leave and overtime with Local 853's union leadership's team. Most recently, I truly believe I offered a fair and reasonable solution at the bargaining table that would have prevented layoffs. We calculated the value of approximately $336,000 of savings, while the actual salary costs were a little over $500,000. We started originally at 8 layoffs. We got it down to 6. And I have to say, the union, we worked with the union. We looked at the numbers. We tried to get it done. We tried to push it. But we needed a little bit more cooperation that at the time just isn't there. We had something to do in a timely manner so we could get the budget to this council, per the Mass General laws. But despite the offer that we put forward, the union leadership simply declined it. Instead, the union leadership determined the benefit of laying off the 6 firefighters outweighed what I had to offer. Additionally, the union leadership chose to wage a public relations campaign, which is happening tonight. However, as misguided this effort may be, it doesn't change the math. Overtime costs have grown by an astronomical amount, roughly 300%. And the rate of escalation is simply not sustainable for the taxpayers of Lowell. In FY26, we are on pace to spend over $4 million in overtime, and this level of spending is not only unsustainable, but it's also out of line with our peer communities. Brockton, Lynn, Lawrence, New Bedford, which are all 4 gateway cities with populations near and around the $100,000, they spend an average of about $2.75 million. To address the root of this problem driving overtime, we have to look at data, and that's what we've been doing. And here is what the data shows. In fiscal year 2025, 112 firefighters used little to no sick time, which is commendable. And you know something? I want to say thank you. Thank you very much to those folks who are leading by example. 60 members used between 7 and 15 tours of sick leave per year. 31 members used 16 or more tours of sick leave per year. Now, I apologize if somebody has an issue going on in their family. God knows nobody would want that to happen. But when we're talking about the difference between 112 members that are leading by example and doing the right thing, which is commendable, and the question of others, we really need to look at this. This is not something that we can continue to afford. When in 2001 we moved to the 24-hour shift, it was intended to reduce sick time, and unfortunately, it's produced something the exact opposite. The sick time usage directly drives overtime. For every hour that someone calls in sick because of what this council has been trying to do, the city normally has to hire somebody back at 1.5 times the rate. So that hour is costing us 2.5 times what it what it would normally cost, far reaching beyond what the taxpayers can expect. I really don't want to do this here. To be quite frank with you, I don't want to. But we have to talk about union business leave. In fiscal year 23 and fiscal year 24, there were 68 union leave shifts each year, which, as I had stated earlier, the city has to backfill those shifts. In fiscal year 25, that number jumped 111 to 111. That's a 63% increase. When the chief attempted to make any request to try to rein this in, a grievance was filed. Grievances are filed. That's how we answer to this. These numbers have real budget consequences. This is not theoretical. This is not political. Going on Facebook is political. These are facts supported by financial data, and they directly impact the other 27 departments, and more importantly, every taxpayer in this city. To add some estimated cost to the union business leave, when union officials are out, those shifts must be filled. And I'll say primarily with overtime. Shared sacrifice by the entire city cannot mean that the rest of the workplace steps up, while one department maintains practices that costs are unsustainable. The fire department is critical to public safety, and its members perform life-saving work. But no department, no matter how essential, is exempt from the fiscal realities of what is going on in this country, in this state, and in this city. No department should expect others to carry the burden and not share it themselves, especially when overtime spending is up nearly 300%. Not when leave usage patterns cause mandatory callbacks. Not when union leave increased by more than 60%. These pressures do not disappear. I've stated, I'm extremely uncomfortable talking about this. I would rather do this at the table. I really, truly would.
I've been asking for this for 4 years. Let me be absolutely clear, and I know people are here. I know this is difficult being here to support this. I understand that. But we do not have to move forward with these 6 layoffs if the union leadership is willing to work with me and come back to the table. It's been inferred that I walked away from the table, and that isn't true. We need help on overtime. We need help on sick leave and staffing practices and time off policies. Fiscal responsibility is not optional. It's not negotiable. It's an obligation to the residents and the taxpayers of this city. For 4 years, this city council and my administration has done more for this department to right the wrongs of the past. From an almost full fleet of new vehicles, the best pay, I will argue, in the area, and finally fixing firehouses that have been not touched for decades, which is a disgrace. My hand will continue to be extended in cooperation, and my door will remain open as it always has been. This does not have to happen. But I cannot support a budget that accepts the current overtime levels as sustainable, because honestly, they're not. I will not allow a short-sighted Facebook publicity campaign to pressure me and to undermine the long-term financial health of the other 27 departments and this city as a whole. To do anything else would be irresponsible on my part. The numbers are the numbers, and the numbers demand action. I've been looking for help. We can solve this. We can solve it with no firefighters needing to be laid off if we acknowledge there's a problem and we work on it together. And that is the God's honest truth. Members are coming to work and some members are not. And I truly feel bad if anybody isn't coming to work because of an illness in their family that we don't know about. This is out of control. This is a budget buster. My door remains open. I'm ready to work towards a solution if the union leadership is. I'm sorry to bring people out here today. I truly am. And I know 6 people are being affected. And I know that 36 other people were affected. And in some aspect, to answer Councilor Mercier's response, we've had 9 people that were ARPA and things of that nature that were laid off. This is not an easy time for this administration, for this council, for this city. But what could be coming forward? What could be coming at us? As I stated earlier in my comments, the way we are going to fund our city in the future, there is a seismic shift that is happening. And I want to thank Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Ball for the past 5 months. I have been intimately involved for the past 12 weeks on a daily basis trying to figure out the best way to present a budget that we could all be proud of. But the 2 gentlemen that have been doing this for the past 5 months are reading things day in and day out to try to work through this when nobody was getting hurt. This is not comfortable. We have had 4 years of growth. We have 4 years of tackling issues that have been kicked down the road for far, far too long. This council and councils before have taken the hit that I've asked them to take, and I'm sorry about that. I truly am. To go above 2.5% is extremely difficult. And this council and previous councils have stood tall because we're trying to make the city of Lowell the best mid-sized city, not just in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We are envied, by the way, by other gateway cities, but in the United States. I'm sorry that my passion may have come through a little deep, and my actual apologies to the union leadership. I don't want to do this here. I would rather that my door is open. I would rather work this out. They came with some great ideas. Some of them we took. Some of them the CFO had already taken. This is a crisis. This is a problem. Let's continue to work together. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor Nuon, could you take up here for a minute? Mr. Manager, you and I have had multiple conversations about this budget, and every time we compare one department to another department, police versus fire in the overtime, it's a very unfair comparison. It's an apple and orange. Because when we look at it, one has 8-hour shifts and one is on a 24. So if someone's, through you, Mr. Vice Mayor, to the manager, if someone's child is sick, can they take an 8-hour shift off and then come in?
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. It depends on the contract.
We're
willing to work with this.
You guys know the contract.
But once again, Mr.
I'm
Mayor.
asking about now.
But once again, Mr. Mayor, this is something we could work with at the union, at the
And that's
table.
what I'm getting at. I'm asking you.
I'm asking for them to sit down. I don't want to do this here. We talked
All
about
I'm doing is asking you a question, a direct question. Can they right now take an 8-hour shift?
No, you can't. But when you took the job, it's 2 days on, two 24-hour shifts.
No,
This
I'm
was
not
known.
disagreeing with you. All I'm doing is asking you a question, and you're getting defensive about it. I'm asking you a question of just, if they take one sick day, how many hours does it cost them? If a child's sick, how many hours does it cost them? Does it cost the city to cover an overtime? If a firefighter calls in tomorrow morning on a shift, how many
Which shift,
hours?
14 hours or 10 hours?
Through you, Mr. Vice Mayor, can we have the
Manager.
chief of police, chief of fire up here, please?
Chief, come to the podium, please. So question, Mr. Mayor?
Yes. If a firefighter calls in sick, how many hours does that cost them?
So if they call in sick during a day, it's a 10-hour day. If they call in the evening, it's a 14-hour night. And they may call in for 24, depending on the situation.
Okay. So at least it's 2 hours more than any police officer when they call in, correct? A police officer's 8-hour shift, they call in, they get 8 hours. So if a firefighter calls in, it's 10 hours, right? And the manager's the one who actually said this. That's the only reason why it triggered to me, because he just said that. The shifts are different. So if someone is sick, it costs them 24 hours. But if a police officer is sick for a day and he can come to work the next day, it only costs the city 8 hours. So the problem is the way the city negotiated these packages back when they negotiated them and gave away a 24-hour shift. And now here we are, because it's 3 times the amount if they call in one day if they're sick, and it's only a third on the other end. So logically, if you looked in and someone called in a day and it was 24 hours, it should be 3 times the amount of sick time if it takes use and cost. Where the police have a lot bigger shifts where they can cover across. You can see where the divide is. And I think it just, as the manager said, it's not sustainable. The number is not sustainable. It went from 2 million to 4.3 million in 3 years. And we did all push to keep the companies open. But I can see where the driver is. And I don't know if people are on FMLA. I don't know if firefighters are out. I don't know the driver to all these, because we don't get that as a city council. But when you have larger shifts, I worked for the town of Tewksbury, 12-hour shifts. If I took a shift off, it was 12 hours versus the employee who was at the DPW where it was 8. So the water treatment plant had a much higher cost for their overtime because they're short-staffed and can't do this. And we talked about this like 3 years ago when we were at 213 firefighters and we weren't filling them, and it was like 202, and then when people are hurt, you were down to like 190. We talked about why didn't we go to 223, and then we would always have 213 and we could cover when people were out. We never got to that stage. And here we are going at each other knowing that these are the repercussions. And Mr. Manager, you did work. You did ask the 2%. It didn't come back, as other unions did come back. We understand that clearly, and that has a direct effect of, what, roughly 350,000? Is that the number, 350 to 400,000? Yeah, so somewhere in there, right? So that would take you back employees. But when we're down this many employees, cutting 6 more firefighters, do you think that's going to increase the overtime or decrease the overtime next year?
Chief.
Through you, Mr. Vice Mayor, to the counselor, it is likely to increase the overtime.
I would say, being a union person, there's no likelihood. It absolutely is going to increase the overtime. So now we're at a net loss on both ends. We're down 6 firefighters, we're closing companies, and here we are costing more money in overtime, more than the 6 firefighters are going to be there, because I'm going to tell you how unions work. You're going to see the sick time increase. It's not going to decrease. So we have to get this resolved some way. And I'm hoping that, Mr. Manager, you and the union can get together and find some resolve in the next week or two. Because if we can't, it's the residents who suffer. And being down 6 firefighters and watching families of people reach out to you and tell you about past firefighters who have passed away, and how much this department means to them, and how everything goes together, we need to do better all around. And we have to understand that the cost of overtime, because of the shifts, are going to be higher than the police department. It's just a fact. And the police department has a day shift where we have 3 deputies right now on it, and we have plenty of people on it. It's a different dynamic going back and forth. So when you start comparing these things, I just hope we're comparing an apple to an apple and not outside of that when we go to shift stuff. And that's just my statement on this, because I just think that there are very good people at the table on both sides of this, that if we can just put our heads together, if I have to use reserve money, I'm going there, because I'm not closing a company. I hate to tell everybody. So if the will of this body is not to do that, so be it. But I personally think, and I pushed for it, to keep all companies open. I care about these firefighters. I care about the residents. I care about the homeless people when they run out and they Narcan them every day. People don't even understand that. They think still firefighters just go to a fire. And it's totally inaccurate. You got EMTs, we have everything going on, and they save lives every single day in this city. And I just think that we're at an impasse right now, that we got to come to the conclusion in this council that we can fix this. And I'm hoping that you, Mr. Manager, and the union can get together and find some happy medium. Thank you.
Mr. Manager. Mr. Mayor, 100%. I agree with you. But, you know, I have to just push back a tad. We have 112 firefighters that are doing the right thing all the time. And you know something? That's where this is so glaring. I'm not trying to compare the police. I was simply stating that a department just as large, right? We're still working with DPW because of the numbers. I'm just saying that 112 firefighters are there. We have, I believe, and I could stand corrected at any point in time, I think we have 120 EMTs that are firefighters. So when they show up, they're doing their job. I was trying to be as respectful as I could be. I know these guys. Some of them I've known for 30 years. Some of them I've known for 40 years. But I'm just trying to say that of the other tours that are being taken off, and I understand that kids get sick. We get kids. I understand that. I don't know what to do. But walking away from the table isn't the answer. And I'm hoping the union is ready to call tomorrow. Let's get this done. I don't believe we need to lay people off, but I need help. And this has been going on for 4 years. I've asked for help, and I've been told we're not interested, or this isn't going to happen right now. I mean, I get it. But the job is 24 hours on, and the guys would have to tell me the number of days you get off, but that's what the job is. If there's a middle ground we can figure out, sure. But the financial ramifications that we have here in the city, with everything coming at us, this is going to be looked at. I don't respect what the fire department is doing. That is not close to being true. I'm just trying to say, from the council's perspective, I've asked you all in previous councils to raise taxes, and I think we just have to really call it out. This is an uncomfortable conversation. My door is open.
And if you look at the police overtime, it also went up 48% from the actual to what it is, the revised. So, I mean, there's a pull on both ends, and when we look at this, I agree with you that something has to change. I agree that we're at a point where I think we cooler heads can make good decisions here and make sure that this city has no companies closed. And that's all of our goals, because I don't know the 110 firefighters who are using this sick time, but I know when my son was young, he had two parents who worked in municipal government, so we could shift off who was getting the sick time. Many families don't have that option, so they have to use it on one end. So I don't know the age of these people. I don't know a lot about it. That's HR, that's you guys, that's all their personnel file. But at the end of the day, we need to do better, and I think we can figure it out together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Does anybody else have anything to add? Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Robinson.
Mr. Mayor, I make a
Finish
motion
this
to
first?
bundle
Can I
6-1.
finish this first?
Okay.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Councilor Robinson.
Make a motion to bundle 6-1 through 6-5.
Motion by Councilor Robinson to bundle 6.1 through 6.5, seconded by Councilor Descoteaux. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
McDonough wants to be. Councilor McDonough, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a point of parliamentary inquiry. I think I looked up how to phrase this. I'm confused, and I am not. This is a genuine question. I'm confused about the earlier tabling of 6.6. I understand there's a lot going on. I looked at the Robert's Rules of Order. It does look like there needs to be some sort of extenuating circumstance or emergency to keep that item on the table. And then we have a number of other votes here that are similar in nature. It's not to the fire department, but we continue to be looking for votes to transfer funds from one account to another account. We're doing all sorts of fund transfers. So I'm just wondering, I guess, if that table was the most appropriate, or if we wanted to postpone that to a specified meeting, or I don't actually know why we tabled it, or if it was an appropriate use of the table.
You asking?
I'm asking through you to either the clerk or the solicitor. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Solicitor, the question is was that the proper use of tabling something since there's...
I'm looking at, it's 1714 in Robert's Rules, newly revised.
Mr. Solicitor.
Yeah, so if it's a subjective piece as to whether or not it's an appropriate use or not. I believe that it was, but if it wasn't, the time to make an objection would have been at the time of the motion, and that objection would go to the chair.
Right. No, thank you. I started it at the time, and then I pulled it back because I wanted to actually make sure I had a real question, and a parliamentary inquiry would also be appropriate at this time because we're now about to have several other votes of a similar nature, which is why I brought it up again. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. 6, votes from the city manager. 6.1, vote accept, expend $130,991 community compact municipal fiber grant MIS. 6.2, vote transfer $1,799,000 general energy. 6.3, vote transfer $1,881,465 various year-end accounts. 6.4, vote transfer $364,000 water energy. 6.5, vote transfer $422,000 wastewater energy. Waive full readings and second readings by title. Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Juran.
Do have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So there was a memo that went with each of these that I think was identical because it broke out but the one thing I think was missing in the memo was the $400,000 transfer to DPW solid waste and recycling trash collection. It didn't add up when I added up all the other numbers, and so if you could give an explanation for that, or maybe tell me where I'm missing it, but I did the math a couple times, so I think it just...
Mr. Baldwin? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Councilor, there was an error on the memo that went out to you guys. The explanation for the trash was it came in late on Friday morning to us, so it didn't get added to the memo. The logistics for the necessary needed for trash is there's a couple of caveats as to why we need it. The first and foremost is the cost of gas is baked into the contract. Secondly is at the time of the budget, when we set the budget, the contract for trash was not yet finalized. So now this is kind of a true up, as well as some of the tonnage that we are using to the tipping fee for trash has increased as well. Mr. Sullivan is here to answer any more specific questions that the council has, but that was an error on the administration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Juran. Councilor Nuon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand that this is an annual housekeeping item that we do every year toward the end of the year. A quick question with regard to first 6.3. Where is that money come from in terms of transfer? Through you, Mr. Mayor.
CFO Baldwin.
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And as you noted, Councilor, it is a little bit earlier, although it is after the statutory deadline for year-end transfers. So the law provides that in the last 2 months of the fiscal year and into the 15 days in the next year, so up to July 15th, there's a sort of relaxed requirement for year-end transfers because of these types of matters that come up. To answer your question directly, we have a number of financing needs to get to June 30th. Those are they're noted in the transfer form, but for Medicare tax, for all employees, the sick leave buyback, there was additional needs, which is budgeted in the city manager's department. The elections office, unemployment costs were another need, and those are funded by a projected surplus in the charter school assessment and then the police salary and wages. So we've talked a lot about charter schools, but because the enrollment gets trued up in October, sometimes there is a surplus available to us at the end of the year, and that's one of the sources.
Could you also give us, through you, Mr. Mayor, to CFO Baldwin, explained on 6.4, what's that for and where that money come from?
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So there are also, and these are separated into individual votes, and just for the public who may not have the agenda in front of them, these are energy votes, but they're split up because one is for energy accounts in the general fund, one for energy accounts in the water fund. 6.4, 6.5 is related to the wastewater treatment plant. Those are enterprise funds, and so the surplus funds available to cover the energy overage is coming from within the enterprise fund. The story there is that we've had higher than anticipated delivery costs and energy costs in general. It's the delivery charge, I think, that is the major driver. Ms. Moses has provided us with some analysis and has provided us with these figures to get us through the end of the year, but the energy costs this year have been a substantial challenge.
So 6.4 and 6.5, those transfer due to a cost of energies is that we encounter. Is that correct?
That's correct, Councilor, and the source of funding to finance them is from the ratepayers, not from taxes, to be clear on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Nuon. Any other questions? Roll call.
Councilor Robinson. Councilor Rourke.
Yes.
Councilor Scott.
Yes.
Councilor Chau.
Yes.
Councilor Descoteaux.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Councilor Juran.
Yes.
Councilor Liang.
Yes.
Councilor McDonough.
Yes.
Councilor Mercier.
Yes.
Councilor Nuon.
Yes.
10 yeas.
10 yeas, motion passes. 7, orders from the city manager. 7.1, order 60-day trial, waive full reading and second reading by title. Order pursuant to Chapter 266 of the Code of Ordinances of Lowell, Massachusetts, concerning Section 266-6, therefore entitled Temporary Experimental Regulations, Temporary Traffic Regulations are hereby implemented for a period of 60 days. Motion to adopt by Councilor McDonough, seconded by Councilor Yang. Roll call.
Councilor Robinson. Councilor Rourke.
Yes.
Councilor Scott.
Yes.
Councilor Chau.
Yes.
Councilor Descoteaux.
Yes.
Mayor Gitschier.
Yes.
Councilor Juran.
Yes.
Councilor Liang.
Yes.
Councilor McDonough.
Yes.
Councilor Mercier.
Yes.
Councilor Nuon.
Yes.
10 yeas.
Thank you.
11 yeas.
You're late.
8, reports subcommittee. 8.1, audit, clerk, oversight, and personnel subcommittee, May 12, 2026. Counselor Duran.
Yes, I'll give a quick summary. So the purpose of the meeting was first to discuss a demographic report regarding hires in the city. We noted the report. Councilor Liang requested an update on the report after the recent layoffs by the city. Mr. Osborne, the city's HR director, indicated he'd provide that to the committee, but noted that the change was slight. He also noted that there's a positive trend from the prior review in terms of having the demographic makeup of the employee population get closer to that of the city. We then discussed the policies and procedures of the clerk and auditor departments. Clerk Gitschier outlined the policies and goals of the clerk's department, describing the day-to-day operations of the unit and the effort of the staff. He noted that the constant goal of the department is to provide a high standard of customer service, and that would not change with the recent reduction in staff. And we wondered if there were any measures beyond sort of specific metrics that we could help the counselors assist in evaluating the department, as that is one of our responsibilities, to evaluate the manager, city clerk, and auditor. We then talked about the policies and procedures of the auditor's department. Auditor Oakes provided an overview of the department with data about lots of things. And how the reporting works in terms of processes and payroll and working with the school administration. We noted that there is a lot of information about the expenses of the city on the city website, and those are useful tools for our residents. And again, we were wondering if there are any other measures or, beyond those specific metrics that we should consider as we think about our obligations to evaluate the folks in each of those positions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Duran. Motion to accept the report as a report of progress by Councilor Descoteaux, seconded by Councilor Chau. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 8.2, Rules and Election Subcommittee, May 19, 2026. Do we want to wait till next week?
Yes, please.
Thank you. 9, petitions. 9.1, claim property damage. Motion to refer to Law Department for report and recommendation by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 9.2, miscellaneous. Mary Lou Carroll requests waiver of demand for excise tax payment. Motion to refer to Law Department for report and recommendation by Councilor Liang, seconded by Councilor Mercier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Any announcements? Councilor Mercier.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two. Memorial Day observance at Veterans Park on behalf of the Office of the Mayor and the City Council and the Office of the City Manager. Join the veteran services in observing Memorial Day, and that would be at the Riley, across from the Riley Middle School. It's going to be on Friday, May 22nd at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's Veterans Memorial Park, across from the Riley School at 150 Douglas Road. And on Memorial Day itself, on Monday, May 25th, at Veterans Park on Aiken Avenue, there'll be a service, Memorial Day service at 9 a.m. in the morning. Thank you.
Councilor Mercier. Any other announcements? We'd like to congratulate all of your children from graduation this weekend. UMass Lowell also graduated over 4,000 students over the weekend. Congratulations to all of them. And Middlesex Community College graduation is this Thursday. Congratulations to all of them. Motion to adjourn by Councilor Mercier, seconded by Councilor Descoteaux. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered.
Have a good night.